Good morning everyone and welcome to this class. This is class 6th, subject social science, chapter number 11 of history, and the name of the chapter is New Empires and Kingdoms. As we have already completed with all the topics of this chapter, so today it's going to be our summary lecture. It's lecture 3 and our summary lecture of this chapter. So we are going to summarize or we are going to recapitulate all the topics covered in lecture number 1 and 2 of this chapter. So let's see the topics that we have covered. Topics to be recapitulated in today's lecture are Prashasti, Gupta's dynasty, Samudra Gupta's achievements in war that he fought, genealogy, the meaning of genealogy and the Gupta's genealogy will take here, Harshavardhana and Harshavardhana, the king of Thanesar. Then administration arrangement of that time means how the different officers, administration officers were working and which were the main posts there. Then 7th, changes in army. How the army that was changed or what type of different new things those were added, different new weapons or the different chariots or whatever it was added there in the army. Then assemblies in southern kingdoms. In southern kingdom there were some assemblies that we have discussed. So we'll recapitulate that. Ordinary people, about whom we got the information from the different written tasks, and the last, king's army we have done. Okay, so we are going to recapitulate, we are going to summarize all these topics in today's lecture. The first topic, Prashasti, that is a long inscription and that was written in praise of the rulers by the court poets. So how we define it? It is a Sanskrit word. Its meaning is in praise of. This is a special kind of long inscription that is written by the court poet in praise of the ruler. There one example we did, that was Allahabad Prashasti written by Hari Sen in praise of the Gupta's ruler Samudra Gupta. Clear? Samudra Gupta, he praised there as a warrior. Even he imagined there that he was just like a goat. He was just like the goat. So what is this? Allahabad Prashasti. It is written by Hari Sen, the court poet of Samudra Gupta, the famous ruler of Gupta dynasty. Samudra Gupta was famous ruler of Gupta dynasty that we have already covered. So through the Prashasti of Samudra Gupta, the different battles that he fought, he really got the achievements in different wars that were also we came to know from the Prashasti written by Hari Sen, his court poet. Now, before starting the work, the achievement in war, we just look over here on the map again. If you see that this area, this green part, here the 9 rulers of Harshavardhana, they were uprooted by Samudra Gupta. Means they were completely, you can say, merged with Guptas. Clear? And these is in pink color. These were the inner states. In inner states, Bengal, Assam, Nepal. So these inner states were paying tributes to Samudra Gupta. Then if you take this part, here the descendant of, means the Vansaj of Kushanas and Shakas as well as Sri Lankan rulers. These rulers, they were also following orders of Samudra Gupta, and even they were offering their daughters to Samudra Gupta for marriages. And this is these red dots, they are showing the rulers of Dakshin Patha. There were 12 rulers of Dakshin Patha, and they were they surrendered before Samudra Gupta after being defeated. So this is all about the area that where he got the influence there by from different states, inner states, outer states, Aryavartas and the Dakshinpathas. Clear? Now I'll see the same here. Samudra Gupta's achievements. Samudra Gupta was a brave ruler of Gupta dynasty that we have covered. 9 rulers of Aryavarta were uprooted by him. Clear that in map also we had seen that the area where these 9 rulers were ruling, they were uprooted by Samudra Gupta. 12 rulers of Dakshinpatha surrendered to him after being defeated. Clear? Surrender means that they just came there to Samudra Gupta. 12 rulers of Dakshinpatha, they surrendered to Samudra Gupta after being defeated. Number 4, the rulers of Assam, Bengal, Nepal, etc. paid tributes and followed his orders. They are in the inner states that we have discussed in the map. So they were paying tributes to Samudra Gupta and following his orders. So they are in the achievements we can write. Now genealogy. What does it mean? It is the list of ancestors. We talk about ancestors means Vansas, and descendant means that is the Vansas, or ancestor means Purvas and descendant means Vansas. So this is the list of the ancestors. Here we'll talk about the Gupta's genealogy. Genealogy means the list of ancestors or line of descent traced continuously from an ancestor. Means from one Vansas to the descent, one line continuously it is given, that is genealogy, or in simple language the line that is the list of ancestors. So here we'll talk about Gupta's genealogy. Therein Samudra Gupta's father was Chandra Gupta I and his mother was Kumara Devi. She belonged to Lichavi Gana that we already discussed in one of the chapter, and Samudra Gupta's son was Chandra Gupta II. He was also the famous ruler of Gupta dynasty, was also famous as Vikramaditya. Clear? And Chandra Gupta I and Samudra Gupta, they both were using the title Maharaja Dhiraj. Clear? Now the next topic, it was Chandra Gupta II was the famous ruler there. So here we'll talk about him also. Chandra Gupta II was the son of Samudra Gupta that we have already discussed. His court poet was full of learned people there. The court poet of Chandra Gupta, it was full of learned people, the scholars. Who were those? Just see, Kalidas was the poet in his court, and he wrote the famous play Abhigyan Sakuntalam. This, in Abhigyan Sakuntalam, the story of King Dushyant and Sakuntala that is given. That is the famous play. We know about that. That was written by Kalidas, and he was the writer there, the poet there in Chandragupta II's court. Aryabhatta, the astronomer, was also the part of his court. There in Chandragupta II's court, second scholar that we had found, Aryabhatta, and Aryabhatta was great astronomer as well as he was the famous mathematician also who invented zero. So this is all about Chandragupta II. Now, Harshavardhana and Harshcharita. Harshavardhana was the king of Thanesar, and Harshcharita was the biography that was written on the life of Harshavardhan by his court poet Ban Bhatt. Harshavardhana ruled about 1400 years ago there on Thanesar. His court poet was Ban Bhatt, who wrote his biography. Its name was Harshcharita and it was written in Sanskrit. So about Harshavardhana, basically we came to know from the biography written by Banbhat. And Xuanzang spent a lot of time in Harsha's court and left a detailed account of what he saw. Xuanzang, the Chinese Buddhist pilgrim who came to India near about 1400 years ago, he also spent time in Harshavardhana's court, and whatever he saw, he left the detailed accounts, the written accounts of that. He also wrote about Harshavardhana. So that is another way to find out about Harshavardhana. Then Harsha was not the eldest son of his father, but became the king of Thanesar. The reason, because his elder brother and father were dead, so after them he became the ruler of Thanesar. He became the king of Thanesar. That was the. Then when he was king of Thanesar, his brother-in-law was ruling there in Kannauj. Clear? But Kannauj was defeated by Bengal rulers there, and his brother-in-law was killed by them. But after some time, Harshavardhana took revenge and he defeated Bengal rulers and took Kannauj back from them, as well as he also defeated Magda. So this is all about, and not only Magda and Bengal, mostly part in northern India, he captured, or he was ruling that particular time. He tried to go there in the southern part also, but it was really difficult for him because he was stopped by Pulkesin II, the famous ruler of Chalukya dynasty in southern part. He ruled over Kannauj, as I told you, and conquered Magda also. So this is all about Harshavardhana, who was the famous king during that particular time in northern part of India. But he was not able to move towards the south, as Pulkesin II stopped him there at the bank of Narmada river. Now, Pallavas and Chalukyas. These were two famous dynasties in southern part in South India during that particular time. Pallavas and Chalukyas were most important ruling dynasties in South India. Pallavas' capital was Kanchipuram and Chalukya's capital was Aihole. These were two prosperous cities of that time. That's why they were raiding, or you can say attacking on each other to control over the capital cities. And the area that they were having, Pallavas, they were ruling near the Kaveri Delta, and Chalukyas, they were ruling on Raichur Doab. Doab means the area between two rivers. So it was the area, Raichur Doab was the area between Krishna and Tungbhadra river. Clear? Now, they frequently raided one another's land, especially the capital cities. That I already told you why, because they were the prosperous towns of that particular time. Best known ruler of Chalukyas was Pulkesin II. Pulkesin II, out of both these two dynasties, the most famous ruler, if we talk about, he was Pulkesin II, and he was from Chalukya dynasty. Clear? Now let's discuss about him also. Pulkesin II. Pulkesin II was the best known ruler of Chalukyas. Clear? And what the different battles he fought and he got the achievement. Let's see. Ravi Kirti was the court poet in his court who wrote about Pulkesin, the Prashastis in praise of Pulkesin II. He even wrote about Harshavardhana also, that one of the verse it is given there, that when Harshavardhana was stopped there by Pulkesin II, he wrote, now Harsha is not more Harsha. Harsh means here happiness, is trying to say. Clear? And then he led expedition along both the coast, the east and the west. He stopped, or he defeated Harshavardhana, that we discussed. He also attacked the Pallavas king who took shelter behind the walls of Kanchipuram. As in the previous lectures or previous chapters, we have talked about that the capital cities were fortified with the huge walls. So these Pallavas they took shelter behind those huge walls there in the capital Kanchipuram when Pulkesin II attacked there. Clear? So this is all about Pulkesin II, the famous ruler of Chalukyas. And we also discussed there that they were not famous for more time, because the different ruling dynasties, they came there in South India, that you will be learning in 7th standard. They were Rashtrakutas. Okay, so the victories that he had, it was short lived only. Now this is all about Pulkesin II. Now administration arrangement of that time, how the different posts and the people were working there for administration. Some of the important posts were hereditary, means the same family members were ruling one after another there. Like example of Harisena here, poet Harisena was Mahadandanayak or chief judicial officer, related to the you can say punishment, or that Mahadandanayak, from the name it is looking that related to the punishment, chief judicial officer. So this post he got hereditary from his father. Then sometimes one person held many offices. Here again the example of Harisena, that he was Mahadandanayak as well as Sandhi Vigrahika. Sandhi Vigrahika means the minister of peace. Suppose there is any requirement between two of the armies, suppose they are fighting any battle and there can be any sandhi between them. So there the Sandhi Vigrahika that works. Then number 4, some other important men included the Nagashreshti or chief banker, Sarthavaha or leader of merchant Karwa, and Pratamakulika, the chief craftsman, that we have done. So you have to learn these names. Nagashreshti means chief banker, Sarthavaha means leader of merchant Karma, and Pratamakulika means the chief craftsman. This is all about the different posts or different offices that were there in administration. The next topic, it was changes in army, what was included and how army was maintained that time. Permanent army was kept by kings or the rulers of that particular time. They were all well organized armies there. And what was included there? Soldiers used different kinds of weapons such as spear, sword, arrows, etc. So these were different weapons, basically those were used there in the army. Then elephants, chariots, cavalry and foot soldiers were used there in the army, that we have already discussed. So the cavalry, it means the soldiers on horses, and so these description we can write of the army of that time. Then samantas came in exist during that particular time. How and who were these samantas? Let's see. Samantas, there were military leaders who provided the king with troops or with armies when he needed. They are not paid regular salaries, they received grants of land. Means instead of getting salaries, they were receiving the piece of land from the rulers. These were the men who maintained soldiers and horses, and at the time of need they were providing that horses or soldiers to the rulers. So these were the military leaders, the samantas that we have done. Now the next is assemblies in the southern kingdom. What assemblies were working there in southern kingdom? Assembly means the group of people who get together for the different matters to discuss there. So the assemblies here in southern kingdom, Sabha, an assembly of Brahmin landowners there, who were discussing on different matters like agriculture, development or the irrigation. Clear? Then you are a village assembly in the area where landowners were not Brahmin, means other than Brahmin landowners, that UR was there. Then Nagaram, third main assembly it was, and it was organization of merchants. So these were three different assemblies, those were there in the southern kingdom. Then next we talked about ordinary people also there. We came to know about these ordinary people there from different written accounts there. Like Pahayan wrote about that, and even different play like Abhigan Sakuntalam, one of the even description given here about from that Abhigan Sakuntalam also. So what things we came to know about these ordinary people? We can get information from plays and other written accounts about ordinary people. Like according to these written accounts, the kings and the most Brahmins spoke Sanskrit language. It was the language it was language used for learned people basically, and ordinary men and women, they used to speak Prakrit language, means the local or regional language it was that the ordinary people were speaking. And Chinese pilgrim Pahayan wrote in his account that untouchables or lower caste people lived in outskirts of the city, means the outer areas of the city that was occupied by the untouchables or lower caste people, and central areas of the city that was used, that was where the high caste people they were living. Then from the account of Ban Bhatta, the court poet of Harshavardhana, we came to know about the king army also, that we had discussed, that when king's army they were on move, they were having the weapons, and along with weapons the day to day life work, the different products like pots, pens, clear, and even they were taking magicians with them. Okay, with magician, one thing that I want to tell you, that the great ruler of Gupta dynasty, Samudra Gupta, he was also famous as the musician king. He was a lover of music. Clear? Now the homework for today, as we have recapitulated all the topics of this chapter in today's lecture, I hope that all of you have now understood each and everything from the chapter. So you please revise this chapter for the test also. Now today's homework, it is read the chapter, the complete chapter you have to read, and do question number 1 and 2 of exercise in book only. In book, question number 2 and 3 those are given. Question 3, that is the question number 1 and 2. Question number 1 is true false, that you have to do there in the book, and question number 2, it is a short question where you have to write the authors, 3 authors name who wrote about Harshavardhana. Clear? Now it's time for homework solution of lecture 2. Question number 1 was, what changes do you find in army of that time? So the answer for this question is, number 1, permanent army was kept by the king or the rulers. Number 2, this army was well organized. Number 3, soldiers used different kinds of weapons such as spear, sword, arrows, etc. Number 4, elephants, chariots, cavalry and foot soldiers were also used there. So these changes you will write there. Question number 2, it was, what were the new administrative arrangement during this time? Answer, some important posts were hereditary, first one. Second, the poet Hari Sen was Mahadandanayak or chief judicial officer. Sometimes one person held many offices, like Hari Sena was Mahadandanayak and Sandhi Vigrahika. Some other main important offices including Nagashreshti, chief banker, Sarthavaha, the leader of merchant karma, Pratamakulika, the chief craftsman. Clear? Number 3, it is the 3 assemblies there. Write a short note on the assemblies of southern kingdom. Number 1, it is assemblies of southern kingdom, Sabha, the assembly of Brahmin landowners, Yuvar, a village assembly in the area where landowners were not Brahmin, Nagaram, third main assembly, and it was the organization of merchants. Number 4 question, it was define samantas. Samantas, there were military leaders who provided the kings with troops when he needed. They are not paid regular salaries, they received grants of land, and these were the men who maintained soldiers and horses. So this is all about the homework solution of lecture number 2. I hope that you are regular with your work, and you please complete today's homework also, then revise the chapter for the test. Thank you and have a nice day.